I believe it's 10 o'clock and I did want to start, oh, we got 2 more minutes. Okay, so I'll just kill 2 minutes of time. I can do that pretty easily. I'm Joy Ashley. I'm the executive director at Mainspring of Ephrata. I have been there for 1 month and one year and 1 month. Prior to that, I have been the director at Ephrata Area Social Services, and prior to that, the director of development at the Ephrata Public Library. All that to say, I have lived and worked in the borough of Ephrata for many years, and I love it. I love the borough of Ephrata. I am smitten with it and dedicated to it. So it gives me great pleasure to be able to present our 5-year plan to revitalize our town, our community. And I just cannot, I was not sure, you know, putting something like this out there, you never know how many people to expect. So thank you so much for coming. I see this is great turnout. I just had no idea. So I'm just absolutely thrilled that you are here today. So thank you. Okay. Mainspring of Ephrata is a 501c independent nonprofit. We are considered a charitable organization. And our mission, what we are, is the economic and community development organization serving the borough of Ephrata. Many people think we are a branch of the borough. We are not. We are independent of that completely. The borough of Ephrata, the municipality itself, is a significant partner of ours. We can't accomplish half of what we need to accomplish without their partnership. So just wanted to clarify who we are. I get this question a lot. Mainspring, why Mainspring of Ephrata? What is a mainspring? Well, the definition of a mainspring is a principal spring in a mechanism such as a watch, or the chief motivating power, the impelling cause. And when you think of economic development, revitalization, having a mission to have a vital, vibrant, healthy, sustainable community, this definition really kind of fits what we do. So Mainspring is a very appropriate name, Mainspring of Ephrata. Our mission is to improve the quality of life in our community through increased economic and community development. Our values include collaboration, inclusion, imagination. Yes, that is one of our core values, to be imaginative. And we want everything that we do, all our projects, our initiatives, to have a positive impact. That is another one of our core values, is we want to be impactful. Our vision statement we just created back in February of 2022. We got together, our board and staff, and we restructured. And shortly after that, we rewrote our 5-year strategic plan, and we came up with a new vision statement. And I stress this because you're going to see this again further on in the presentation. Mainspring of Ephrata celebrates the unique history, landscape, and blended cultures of Ephrata by cultivating a memorable, multi-generational, and thriving business corridor. When I started, I had one main priority, and that was to become a Keystone Community's designated community. Keystone Community's program is a program of the state with a Main Street focus. And the definition, the reason there, what that is, it's posted on the slide. Opportunity to designate areas of the municipality for targeted investment and development for a 5-year period. But that's a very cool definition, and there's a lot of benefits that come with being a designated community, and they're there. But the main reason I wanted to be a designated community was the application that goes to the state, the Department of Community and Economic Development in Harrisburg. The application process is massive. We had to create a plan, literally a plan for every single year for the next 5 years. It kept us extremely focused And we had to determine what is our priority, what are our top priorities to revitalize Ephrata. We wanted to start with downtown, that central business corridor, and that's why we are going to be a Main Street program designated community for 5 years. We serve the entire borough. Lincoln is just as important as Oak Street and Pine Street and Queen Street and our downtown. But we had to start somewhere because we have to be extremely focused in our vision. And I feel if we can revitalize and get our business economy stabilized, the ripple effect will impact the rest of the community. The next 5 years after this, we can focus on that donut of neighborhoods out around the central business corridor. So I just wanted to explain why Main Street, why did we start there? So that's why. And designation requires boundaries. So you can see on this map exactly where the map for where we're going to be designated. It starts at Spring Garden Street, it goes all the way down east to West Main, includes the Ephrata Cloister, and it ends at the Cloverleaf. That's our designated community. And again, this is just what we're focused on in revitalization for the first 5 years. But again, it does not mean that the other parts of the borough are not significant. They are. We have 3 core programs at Mainspring Ephrata. We have physical development, community and events, and business development. Physical development and business development are 2 of the core programs that a lot of people don't know that that's under our purview. That is one of our core programs. Most people know Mainspring by our community and events. Our parties on the plaza, our Christmas tree lighting, the New Year's Eve celebration. Most people know Mainspring by those. But we also are extremely committed to physical development, which includes buildings, physical improvements, planning and zoning, parking, that's a good one, just wayfinding, all that kind of thing. And business development is the trade area, the business retention and recruitment, e-commerce, financial incentives, all those kinds of things. The 4th piece of the pie is sustainability. That's the organizational part. That's the thing that makes sure that our organization is solid and stable. That includes fundraising, our board's governance, our communications, our volunteer development, all of that kind of thing is just for our organization. So why is economic development so important to the borough of Ephrata? Well, it speaks to employment. We want our income, our homes, our families that live in the borough to be stable and have a stable income. I listed the highest employers within the borough. WellSpan, over 1,200 employees at WellSpan Ephrata Community Hospital and their local offices. Ephrata School District, the borough of Ephrata itself, manufacturing and service businesses, all within the borough. Restoration Relief, Iron Steffi and Sons, Astra Mechanical, Morgan Trucking, all of these are right within the borough borders. And guess what? They're all looking for employees. So let's get these companies, their employees, and fill them up, and we will see, growth in the economy. It also speaks to small privately owned businesses. When we see an empty storefront in the downtown, we encourage our independent businesses to set up shop there, because that revenue that they generate is realized, it's reinvested directly back into our community. We love our corporate office, and we love Panera Bread, we love Walmart out in the township, but corporate office that's held in another state, you don't want 50% of your profits going to another state. You want it reinvested directly back into your local economy. So that's why we encourage independently owned businesses. It speaks to building safe communities. We want our neighborhoods to be safe. Historic preservation. That's one of the defining assets of Ephrata is our history. And it fosters sustainable growth through cultural and economic shifts throughout the country. What does this mean? Well, a great example of a cultural and economic shift happened 2 years ago. It was a global pandemic. You think about all the changes that have happened in our life just from this pandemic. And I'm not talking about just commercial or professional, career-wise. I'm talking about our schools, our kids, our education, our homes, how we can, go to the lumber yard and pay a fortune on lumber all of a sudden, and the price of eggs all of a sudden. These are the cultural shifts that we are needing to navigate, and we want to be stable and solid as a community, no matter what comes down the pike. So that was the intro. So let's get to the revitalization. Is everybody still awake? Okay, good. So when you revitalize, when you think of a plan, what's it going to take in the next 5 years to make this community thrive, or well on its way, well on its journey to thriving and vibrancy? Well, you have to start with the vision. What do you want the place to look like? What kind of community do you want to live in? What do you want there? What entertainment, what activity, what work opportunities, what is the vision? And then from the vision, you break those pieces down into transformational strategies. And from those transformational strategies, you break it further down into attainable, definite goals. And from there, you got to work your goal. You got to come up with your work plan. So then we develop our action plan. So starting with that vision, and I wanted to repeat this because it is key. It's absolutely key. Mainspring celebrates the unique history, landscape, and blended cultures of Ephrata by cultivating a memorable, multi-generational, and thriving community. So when we do transformational strategies, when we wrote them out, we actually write it like a story. We're painting a picture. We are creating a story for Ephrata. And this is the future. This story that we wrote is the future of Ephrata, what we want to see, but we write it like it is right now, like it's present tense. And you know what? Bear with me for the next 4 slides because I'm going to read these to you. And if you want to close your eyes and just kind of picture what I'm talking about, by all means do that. So bear with me as I read this. It starts with what we call a preamble. It's putting Ephrata in the context of the region. Surrounded by rich farmland, the borough of Ephrata serves as a gateway to northern Lancaster County and celebrates its agricultural history and recreational highlights. Aptly located by the banks of the Cocalico Creek in the foot of the Ephrata Mountain, and positioned strategically between Lancaster and Reading, the central business district of Ephrata is a safe, attractive, and thriving location for customers, residents, and investors alike. With appealing and well-maintained storefronts and buildings with significant architectural detail, the downtown Ephrata of the 21st century is, here's number 1, a location for both residents and visitors to experience outdoor recreation. The Warwick-Ephrata Rail Trail provides a beautiful and safe avenue for bicyclists and walkers to traverse and links Ephrata to other municipalities in the northern part of the county. A primary appeal of the rail trail is that it runs directly through the middle of downtown Ephrata, providing access to restaurants, shops, and other amenities. Additionally, Mountain Springs Recreational Preserve offers hiking and biking trails atop the Ephrata Mountain, where people can take in the incredible vista of the borough nestled in the valley below. Residents enjoy a community pool, tennis courts, a bike park, a bike share, and thanks to the active rec center and the Ephrata Area Educational Foundation 5K runs. When folks finish their walks, runs, and cycling pursuits, they walk downtown to the local watering holes for whatever ice-cold beverages suit their fancy. Restaurants, family outfitter businesses, and gear shops offer everything people need for their recreational experiences, and the workforce of those businesses love to call Ephrata home. Number 2, Ephrata, the 21st century, is the place to be. Community events all year round entice visitors to stay and residents to gather. All walks of life, every creed, nation, and social status gather to enjoy parties at the Whistle Stop Plaza, live music performed by the Calico Creek, the largest street fair on the eastern seaboard, Christmas tree lighting, Christmas markets, and a New Year's celebration, making our town rich in diversity and inclusivity. It is a destination for history lovers and architectural enthusiasts. Beginning at Ephrata's birthplace, the historic Ephrata Cloister, visitors walk back into time through the 18th century Germanic buildings that originally housed religious celibates and learn about Ephrata's rich agricultural history of threshing wheat and raising livestock to provide for its families and for those less fortunate. This heritage continues through its lively farmers market and produce stands. Residents and visitors alike enjoy historic walking tours and learn about the architectural significance of the downtown buildings, ranging from colonial to Italianate to Art Deco. We're in one right now. Ephrata has established itself as a destination for specialty shops that complement this historic downtown setting. Efforts to preserve the delicate fabric of the downtown historic district are reinforced through preservation initiatives and facade improvement programs. Ephrata boasts both a historic theater and a live performance theater in the park where musicals and plays draw crowds of hundreds. And number 3, Ephrata of the 21st century is a family-friendly community for people of all ages, with a growing active senior population and an increasingly diverse younger population. Ephrata works diligently to ensure that it is safe, clean, and green, and provides a variety of housing, healthcare, economic engagement, and civic involvement opportunities for both existing and future residents, customers, and businesses. Streets are accessible and safe for all. The downtown's desirability is as both a residential address and business location is strengthened by the community's commitment to ensure access to the best available technology, linking the commercial core to the rest of the world. Faith is a hallmark of the community's character, and churches provide not only houses for worship, but community involvement to shepherd those in need, just as the Ephrata of 200 years ago did at the Ephrata Cloister. So that's a lot, but you can see we're painting a picture, and from those 3 transformational strategies, we break it down even further to actual black and white goals. So goal number 1, if you can recall transformation strategy number 1, we are going to create Ephrata as a recreational destination, building on what's already established. How are we going to do that? Number 1, development of the Ephrata Mountain. There's 202 acres of public wooded land up on the top of what we call the Ephrata Mountain. And if we can create hiking trails and biking trails there, some other amenities on top of that mountain, we can bring the biking trail, the walking trail down through Main Street and connect it with the already super popular rail trail. And from that will increase businesses that cater to recreational pursuits. A gear shop, in case your bicycle gets broken on the mountain. Family outfitter businesses, those ice cream shops, more restaurants and pub type businesses. All of these businesses can open up, and that will complement being a recreational destination. I know that the Ephrata Mountain there's some concerns about developing the Ephrata Mountain. So we can talk about that in a little bit. Okay, we're well aware of it. But this is a real thing. It's called nature-based placemaking. In my opinion, it's the thing that has saved the Pennsylvania wilds. Okay, out in the Alleghenies, you had coal mining towns that were all but dead when the industry died. And so they decided to look at the nature around them. Ohio Pile is an example. Nature around them, and leveraged those natural resources to create economy for their towns. And if they can do it, we can do it. Goal number 2 is to brand Ephrata as the place to be, increased vibrancy and embraced heritage. So what does that mean? How do we do something like that? Well, number 1, we can improve the facades in our downtown buildings. I have an example. Now this, I stole from Lancaster City. They do it all the time. We can do it. You take a facade that's drab, kind of not very attractive, kind of falling apart maybe, and improve that facade, and it makes it so much more attractive to go into. It's attractive for people to patronize the business that's in there. And I'm happy to report you're one of the first groups to know that Mainspring of Ephrata was awarded a facade improvement grant from the DCED in the amount of $50,000 that we can provide small grants to our property owners along Main Street who need to improve their facades. So we hope to get that started within the next month. So we want to expand holidays in Ephrata. We already sort of did with our New Year's Eve celebration. And we want to create vibrant First Saturdays. And what this means is, so right now we have Party on the Plaza, the first Saturdays of the summer months. Well, how about we take it up the street and get our businesses to be included on those first Saturdays? And we make it a destination. If Lancaster City can create First Fridays, why can't we create First Saturdays? We're already halfway there. Downtown Historic District developed. We actually have a downtown historic overlay. How about we promote that? Or we're proud of our architecture and our history. We're proud of the Ephrata Cloister and that being our birthplace. So why not promote that? Why not put signs out on the turnpike and put signs out on 222 and get people to want to explore? Well, historic downtown Ephrata, you see it in Bellefonte, you see it all over the place. If they can do it, why can't we do it? We can bring people downtown, and we have more to show in our history than most of those other towns do. So we are going to be preservation focused. I'll give you an example, the Sprecher building. Most everybody here knows what I'm talking about when I say the Sprecher building. Well, there is a 1912 elevator in the Sprecher building that still operates. And can you imagine if 20 years from now, somebody purchased that building and this fully historic, fully operating elevator was ripped out because it was inconvenient? That would be something that is only Ephrata, gone forever. So we want to place more easements, preservation easements on features of our buildings in our town that we hold near and dear to our hearts, that will never go away. So that's what I mean by preservation focused. Tourism, as a result, tourism increases. People want to go to a town where they can go to Poor Man's and have an award-winning beer under the tin roof ceiling of a building where customers were served for over 100 years. We're creating a destination. Goal number 3 is create a safe, clean, and green downtown and increase community engagement. Outcome number 1, traffic calming and safety measures on Main Street implemented. There are things that we can do to slow the traffic down, to make it safer to cross, and to make it a little bit quieter so that you can talk to your companion at Scratch Bakes on the front porch. I include this picture here because I feel like it is so very telling. We have a car parked in a legitimate parking space here on West Main, but imagine that this be a young mom and she's getting her toddler out of the car seat in the back seat. And look what's barreling through the light. It's a semi. That image does not portray safety to me. So let's implement some safety calming measures to make our streets a little bit safer and more appealing for people. How about we make parking a positive asset for a change? And there's things that we can definitely do. We have plenty of public parking and it's free. You compare our parking amenities to Lidditz. We are super when it comes to public parking, but nobody knows it. It's one of the biggest complaints or challenges that Mainspring hears. There are ways that we can make our public parking more accessible for everybody. We want to look at our anchor businesses and buildings established downtown. What does that mean, an anchor building? Well, I'll give you one example. The Wanger feed mill It's owned by Ephrata National Bank. It sits right along the rail trail. It is a majorly strategic building, but it's not developed. How about we develop that into something that will build economy for our town? And then finally, condo style housing provided. Active senior population is the fastest growing population in the entire country. These are the folks that are retired, but they're still very healthy and they're vibrant and they want to go, they want to be traveling, they want to be engaged in their community. This is huge. How about we provide housing for them downtown? It's Monday through Friday. It's foot traffic for the businesses. It's a volunteer opportunity for many of our organizations. So that's just an example of what I mean there. So where did we come up with these 3 goals, this vision? How did we come up with it? A lot of people ask. So you start with your assets. And here's some assets of Ephrata that we already have that people don't think about. But they're great assets for a borough. We have anchor buildings. Wanger Feed Mill is an example. The old LNP building that was purchased by Kleinfelter Insurance. That's an anchor building. That's bringing how many new office seats to the downtown? Town history or historic buildings. Those are assets. We have, I would say, the largest amount of green space in a borough of any borough in Lancaster County. We have a huge amount of green space. Community events, we have that wide Main Street, that vista coming down the hill that shows up in what, 10 different Christmas Hallmark movies? That's an asset. We have connectivity, we have Blue Ridge, Comcast, Windstream. Do you know that you can get free Wi-Fi on our Whistle Stop Plaza? If you're sitting there and for lunch and you have your iPad out, connect to our free Wi-Fi, courtesy of Windstream. Churches, we have a church on every street corner, but you know what? That's an asset because those are resources for our people, for our residents. And there's that strong sense of neighbors helping neighbors. So we took our assets and then we coupled them with hard marketing data. And this data was illuminating. This is stuff you can't make up. It's called Prism. It's the software for the marketing data, and it comes from the Nielsen ratings, it comes from the Pennsylvania Census, a whole bunch of different sources to come up with this data. So we are looking at the opportunity gaps, and I just picked out 3 examples, and I'll explain this to you. So beer, wine, and liquor stores, $2.5 million was spent by only Ephrata Borough residents on beer, wine, and liquor stores. Okay, 2.5 million in 2021. However, the borough itself only supplied 821,000 of that 2.5 million. So we have an opportunity of 1.6 million to open up more stores. Closer, sorry. Stores of this kind so that we can capture some of that revenue. Family clothing stores. Remember I talked about family outfitter shops when we create a recreation destination? This is huge. 3.1 million was spent in 21 by only Ephrata Borough residents on clothing. And we only supplied 534,000 of it. So we have a $2.6 million opportunity to open up family clothiers, business, outfitter shops, those sorts of things. And then I put bookstores in just for fun because apparently people that live in the borough do read and buy books, but we don't offer any of that. And the third place that we got these goals from was a survey that you, the community, did back in August. Do you all remember this survey? It's printed in the paper and social media and whatnot. So I just got the results of this 2 days ago. So you'll have to bear with me. But the green, of course, is positive. The yellow, orange, and red are on the more negative side. Can you see our main street in Ephrata is safe, is clean, is green, and it goes through all those aspects. So it has quality historic architecture. People were pretty strong on that one, not very many negatives. So everybody recognizes that we have great architecture, so why not preserve it, right? And down here is pretty 51% negative, has inviting storefronts. There's that facade improvement that we can do. Our Main Street in Ephrata, strongly disagree, 72%, has the right mix of businesses. You know, we have some empty storefronts that we need to address. We have a lot of service companies on Main Street. Maybe we need a few more retail, a few more restaurant, that sort of thing to get that right mix. Another one has a low first floor vacancy rate. Pretty red. Looking appeals to a broad range of users, kind of in the middle on that one. Another one is progressive and future oriented. It has a lot of negative responses to that. But that's what I'm talking about with that connectivity. We can improve that. We have the resources to improve that, to get everybody connected to the rest of the world. And finally, this one is vibrant in the evening. We know we don't have a nightlife. We know that now. But you know what? In 5 years, it's going to be radically different because we are creating destinations. Oh, I thought that was final. Is walkable. We're really walkable. Look, can be easily reached by car, bike, and walking. Those are great. Is well connected to other attractions. This kind of surprises me because we are well connected. We got that rail trail. It's only 7 miles to Lidditz, which has other attractions. So, and we're positioned directly between Reading and Lancaster, right on 222. It's very easy. So those are where we got the assets, the hard marketing information, and your responses to the survey is how we came up with our 3 primary goals to revitalize Ephrata, okay? And I put this slide in because these are the partners. We couldn't do anything without partners. So I wanted to thank our partners who are part of this. Of course, the DCED in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania Downtown Center, our chamber, our local chamber of commerce. I'm proud to serve on the board of our chamber. It's an awesome organization. Lancaster Eats. And then our own businesses that support us in many, many different ways, both financially and in-kind support. And the city of Lancaster, Discover Lancaster, which is the tourism organization. So what does this mean to you? What can you do? How can you become engaged other than please continue to fill out surveys? Don't ever get tired of filling out surveys because we always want to keep track of where people are thinking and where they're at. Well, we need help. We can't do any of this alone. We want to have vibrant and exciting events, and that takes manpower and women power. So we need volunteers. We need volunteers for all our communities. The Ephrata Brew Fest for Saturdays, parties on the plaza. Well, you can read them. We need helpers for those. We need helpers on the Safe, Clean, and Green Committee. I formed the Safe, Clean, and Green Committee. Right now, if you take a walk around the parking lot behind and around the train station, it looks like a garbage dump. We need a group of people to help us pick up trash and keep our town looking clean. We need people to help do some landscaping, help spread mulch on our public areas. And it's not enough to say, well, the borough, Public Works does all this. Public Works does a lot. They can't do it all either. Some of this stuff is under our purview. I'll give you an example. The Veterans Plaza where the winter statue is, that is not borough. That is organized and run by Mainspring. And so we always need help keeping that looking nice. So that's what I mean by the Safe, Clean, and Green Committee. And then we need ambassadors for our visitor center. We want to be open from May to October on the weekends. That's where people come. Their tourism's people are coming over these warmer summer months and fall months, and they come on the weekends. And so we want our visitor center to be open, and we need help with that. So we need people who are willing to be what we call ambassadors to keep Saturday and Sunday open so that they can meet and greet and help the visitors coming to town. All right, I'm done.